Welcome back to Proper Madness. I am happy to have you back if you're a returning listener. If you're a new listener, my name is Sabi, and I have a very unique perspective on mental health. I believe wholeheartedly that we can turn anything that we have been through and alchemize it into bettering ourselves mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It helps you feel less alone, to know and understand that the way out is always through the eye of the storm. Grab a cup of tea. If you're not a tea drinker, grab your coffee, and let's sit down and tune into ourselves so that we can learn to connect to other people. We never know the weight of our words and how they might help someone. Hello. Welcome back to Proper Madness. If you're seeing the title of this episode, yes, it's about how can we romanticize our life. How can we romanticize the everyday and the mundane? I always used to think that there was something wrong with me if I romanticized the things that I loved, that I enjoyed. Because for some reason, we're brought up in a society that tells us to see things very realistically and to live logically and kind of in this state of almost like a rigid mentality of discipline. But if you listen to my episode, oh gosh, weeks and weeks ago, about reframing discipline as devotion, it's the same with romanticizing your life. You can romanticize even the smallest moments that you have. We just don't want to pay attention enough to do that. Something as simple as brushing your teeth, getting ready in the morning, starting your morning, can be romanticized. It sets the tone for your day to move with more intention instead of just moving to move, instead of just doing to do, instead of just doing the millions of things that you have to wake up and do every day for the sake of just doing them. As a society, that's what we do, right? We move through the world wondering how we can do more and accomplish more without really realizing the intention behind what we're doing. You can put this in any scenario. Business, work, artistry, whatever it might be. As far as business goes, obviously in my experience working in corporate, that's all that I did. I was a machine. I just did things to check something off the list without having any real intention in it because one, I didn't enjoy it, and two, because I was in an industry that didn't really prioritize intention. More of do more to be more, that mentality. And that will get you so burnt out so fast, no matter what you're doing that with. Even dating. There was a time where I was single. Well, I've been single for 4 years, mostly by choice, right? And also, someone actually asked me this, why have you been single for 4 years? I went, well, I think part of it is because I was purposely attracting and pursuing, which I was pursuing, that's a whole thing. I was aligning myself with people who were emotionally unavailable because I was emotionally unavailable because I was scared of getting hurt. That's the truth. However, on the other side of that, I am insanely picky with who I align my energy with. And there came a point in time in my life where I was dating for the sake of dating because people were telling me that that's what I should do to find a partner. They said, it's a numbers game. You just got to get on an app and swipe and go out on as many dates as you possibly can. And that's exhausting. It's exhausting. It burned me out emotionally. And then no wonder why I probably became a little bit more jaded and emotionally unavailable, because I just was doing things for the sake of doing it because society tells us if you do more and be more, you'll make more. You have more value the more that you do. No, you don't. You have more value in the intentions behind what you do and how you do it. I posted something the other day of someone who thinks that they know everything is a master of nothing. And it's true. It's the same with trying to accomplish so much at once that you feel like if you don't accomplish more, if you don't strive to be more and do more all the time, That ambition is no longer ambition, it's a trauma response of you running away from something within yourself. Because what would be the harm in romanticizing your life? What would be the harm in romanticizing your life? In seeing the everyday and the mundane with hope, with love, with magic. If you refuse to believe that, or if that's triggered you in any type of way, I want you to ask yourself why. Why are you scared of romanticizing your life? Do you think that if you do that and you're happy, something bad is going to happen? Nothing bad is going to happen. I'm not saying romanticize grief. I'm not saying romanticize heartbreak. I'm not saying romanticize terrible, awful things in the world. I'm saying romanticize little moments in your day from the moment you get up. That is the tone of how you will move throughout your day and how you will overcome any challenge that comes your way. I've been doing a lot of rhyming lately, and I don't know why. Um, but in all seriousness, if I could walk you through my morning, it's very intentional, always. Always. The moment my alarm goes off, it's a moment for me to go, this is the time for me to deeply connect with myself first before I connect with anyone else. I do not check my phone. I do not text anyone. I don't scroll on social media. My alarm goes off. The first thing I do is I do my breath work. And even that, there has to be intention behind that. If you're doing breath work and all the mindfulness things for the sake of just doing them because of health, because of mental health, another thing to just check off, it's not actually going to work for you. The key to being successful in any way of your life is to romanticize even the smallest moments that you know are good for you, that require you to be disciplined and devoted to yourself. So when I do my breath work, there's intention behind it. Yes, my mind wanders. I'm not perfect. Yes, I still overthink about things that I'm excited about or I'm worried about or anxious about. But it's a moment for me to check back in with myself. Then I do my meditation. And my meditation is me asking myself what I need, but I even romanticize that moment. I romanticize that moment to check in with my body and go, hey, what do you need today? Yes, we have things that we need to accomplish today, but what do you need before we do any of those things? Or what do you need while we're doing any of those things? Then at that point, I do my sensuality practice, right? I'm getting into my body and I'm dancing. It's like 2 songs. 2 songs is how much time in my life? 10 minutes. If you can't take 10 minutes out of your morning to romanticize your day, to tap into your body, to fantasize about all the beautiful ways your day could go right, you're doing something wrong. I get into my body, and then I do my energy work before I leave the door. And then I do what I need to do. I'm either going to the gym in the morning, or if I'm not going to the gym in the morning, I'm starting my day, I'm making my coffee, whatever I'm doing. But everything holds intention. I caught myself last week too when I started going back to the gym in the morning of the reasoning behind why I was doing it. I went, am I doing this because I feel like I have something to prove? Is it another box to check off? Or am I doing it with a different mentality and energy? I'm doing it with a different mentality and energy. I sent a voice memo to a girlfriend of mine the other day saying that I think my relationship with my body has changed so much because I'm no longer working out because I hate myself. I'm working out and I'm moving because I want to and because it feels like devotion. But I was almost struggling with combating that idea in my head of, okay, well, why am I moving my body right now? Is it devotion or is it because I feel like I have to look good to be loved? So when you think about the intention behind every little moment that you have in your life, Whether it's connecting with your family, connecting with your friends, romanticize it just a little bit more. Find a way to enjoy everything. When you're brushing your teeth, can you take a moment to look yourself in the eyes while you're brushing your teeth and just acknowledge, like, hey, I'm taking care of myself? When you're making your coffee, can you take a moment to maybe set an intention with your coffee before you drink it? Before you do work, before you get in your car, before you do anything, can you ground yourself just a little bit more? Because the more in tune you are with you, the less exhausted you're going to be. You can still be there for other people, provide for other people, and be who other people need you to be, but you can't do that if your cup's not full. And your cup doesn't need to be, and to fill your cup, you don't need to take an entire day. It can be in small increments and moments. When we're doom scrolling, we're running away from something. When we're trying to run, trying to accomplish, trying to be super ambitious for truly no apparent reason. Ambition can become very, very dangerous if it's something that you're doing because you feel like you have something to prove. Who are you trying to prove something to? Yourself? Or the parent, the bully, the relationship, the ex, whoever it is that doubted you? My ambition used to be something that I fell into out of survival, out of a need to prove, out of a need to honestly prove to the people who doubted me, the people who bullied me, the people who put me down, my exes. It was always a way to do something to prove someone else wrong, not because I actually enjoyed it. And it's interesting because once you heal the parts of yourselves, plural, I guess, many selves. Once you heal the parts of yourself that did so much to be liked, to be admired, to prove people wrong, your ambition and your drive kind of goes out the window. My ambition and my drive used to solely exist to prove every single ex wrong. But I was dating I was not dating men. I was dating boys who had a lot of feminine energy, so I felt like I had to be the ambitious one because I never wanted to align myself with men who actually wanted to be supportive and wanted to, and not financially, like emotionally, who wanted to be supportive and who wanted to hold that space and actually wanted to support my dreams. I mentioned this on a podcast a long time ago that someone that I dated once, um, amazing guy. He's found his soulmate, and I'm very, very happy for him actually, because it was just we didn't know we were good friends, and then we dated. And while we were friends, we would always joke around because he was very, very avoidant. And finally, he found the person for him, and he's obsessed with her, and I think that's the most beautiful thing on the planet. Um, and he would joke around with me and say, "Do you think maybe because you're so ambitious, like, you don't have time to be in a relationship?" And I know I answered this in the last podcast I did a few episodes ago, but I'm going to repeat myself in a different way because it kind of goes with a different topic that I'm going to touch on in a second. I said no. I go, no, I feel like I can always make time and make space for that. The reality of the situation is he was right. My ambition was fueled off of I need to prove myself. My ambition was fueled off of, well, this is my value. I felt like my value was based off of how successful I could be. And I've experienced that in my life. High success, high financial gain. None of that meant anything to me in the long run because it was empty. You see all these people that make so much money, but if you really truly look at them, are they enjoying their lives? Some are, and I feel like most European people probably. But most people just love to make money for the sake of saying that they make money, not because they want to give back to the world, not because they want to provide for the people that they love, not because they want to do something good with it. Ambition can be very scary if it's not used with purpose, alignment, and intention and romanticizing your life. Now, when I say romanticizing your life, the thought maybe that'll pop up into your head is like a romance movie or like a Disney movie. That's not the case. Romanticizing your life is just taking more enjoyment in what you're doing. We all know that the Vogue article came out last week about is having a boyfriend embarrassing? And when I read the title of the article, the toxic woman inside of me wanted to be like, fuck yeah, it is. It's not. I'm like, yeah, it's embarrassing, but that's also the hyper independent part of me. I think the article was very well written because what it does is the best marketing you could think of, right? You're talking about a topic that is so controversial that's going to get people talking. It's going to get people wondering that's why it's so successful. And the tone of it, if you really read the article, the writer doesn't really take one side or another. It's just highlighting a bigger issue and a bigger problem that we have as a society. And that is too much emphasis sometimes is placed on the value of having a partner and who you are. Your partner has to look a certain way, your partner has to make a certain amount of money, your partner has to behave a certain way, and therefore your partner is almost this status symbol for you. And what I took from the article is that there's almost this. I mean, it has so many layers to it. I think, yes, men need to do better. They do. I think the article was touching on the fact that you don't have a lot of men anymore. You have boys, but you don't have men who have the true provider, partner, protector instinct that women technically crave. Women have now become the men that they have always wanted because they don't really have a choice because boys are acting as if they need to be courted, as if they need to be pursued, as if they need a hell of a lot of reassurance in order to feel more comfortable in their own skin. That would be when a boyfriend is embarrassing. When you're dating someone who is the princess, like, and I'm talking about heteronormative relationships, male, female. In that case, yes, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing if your mental well being, your purpose, who you are, and how you carry yourself, and how you feel about yourself depends on a boy. This is for the women who listen to my podcast. If you are hyper obsessed and fixated on your relationship, you are giving every inch of your power and your energy away to someone else. Women are literally walking I told a friend of mine this the other day. We are walking portals. We create life in our bodies. In our bodies. And you want to tell me that you want to put your boyfriend on a pedestal, throw away your entire life, your dreams, your aspirations, and everything that makes you happy just to make a man happy to keep him because you want to appease society? That is what makes having a boyfriend or a partner embarrassing because you change yourself. You change who you are. You change your very nature of your existence for another person. This can even go for men though. Like I don't think it's just something to do with women. I think it's people. Having a partner is embarrassing when you've settled, when you change yourself, when you're not being yourself, when you self-sacrifice, and when your partner literally becomes your identity. It's like it reminds me of it reminds me of that like theory where you see people who have pets and their pets look like them? Quite literally, there are people in relationships and like they just completely forget about who they are. They completely forget that they are a whole person before that other person came into the picture. And then all of a sudden, every single waking moment of their life revolves around a relationship. Yes, that's when it's embarrassing. That's when this almost like hyper subservient woman, it's sad. You know, like some women want that life and that's totally okay. You do you. I'm so happy for you. But did you have any passions or anything that made you happy that you gave up because you felt like you couldn't be yourself, you couldn't be in your power, you couldn't pursue your dreams or live your life because of a partner, because of having kids? I I actually one time had a girlfriend of mine and we're still acquaintances, but she stopped being friends with me because she felt like her whole life revolved around her children. But she had a partner. So she wasn't a single parent. She had a partner. And I go, why do you feel like you need to sacrifice who you are for the sake of having a family and being a good partner? I don't think that that's very healthy. I feel like there has to be balance. I feel like you can still be yourself, you can still be you while maintaining these other parts of your life. I don't know, I haven't had the luck to have that yet, and that's something I want, but I'm going to make damn sure I don't lose myself. I'm gonna make damn sure I don't change. I don't like, and I don't mean don't. I mean like I don't change in a bad way. Like I don't lose my identity. I don't lose myself. I don't lose my fire and what makes me me just because my life is changing. Adaptability doesn't mean you change. Adaptability means you adapt and you grow. You can still be you. You can still be yourself and have all these parts of your life grow and thrive and blossom. You don't have to pick and choose. It's the extremity of it. That's what makes it embarrassing. It's the extremity, and now, oh my gosh, even these social media relationships that we see of like there are, and I didn't know this until recently, but there are some people who are quite literally in relationships on social media for the sake of social media because they think it's going to make them look cooler or more popular or more likable, and it's some sort of very strange marketing PR. And I don't understand that. You're taking away the whole premise of love. You're taking away the idea of romanticizing your life and really truly enjoying your life. And instead, what you're doing is you're making it like a Lifetime movie and a copy paste thing that everyone should model. And now anyone who doesn't have a partner is suddenly looked down upon. Now, here's where I disagree with the article. I think having a partner is one of the most beautiful things you can do. And I think the premise around hyper independence is making people very, very emotionally unavailable, and it's giving a bad name to the good men out there. Because there are good men out there. There are men who want a partner. There are men who want to provide, who want to lift you up, who want to support you, who want you to be your best you, but you have to give them a chance, and you can't just assume that because the past guys never were able to be there for you, that now suddenly no guy can be there for you. That's where it gets a little out of hand. There are some women who almost love this hyper independence and they jump into this boat of, oh, well, I can do everything myself, so why do I need a man? Are you sure? Or is it that you're just scared that if you actually put yourself out there, that you're scared that you might have to become subservient and sacrifice your life when that's not the case? You just have to find the right person. When you find the right person, your independence can still exist, but it doesn't have to be something that's toxic. It doesn't have to be something where you push every single good person away because you're scared of being loved. You're scared of being seen. You're scared of relying on another person because anytime you have relied on another person in the past, they disappointed you. So you decided, okay, well, I'm just going to make my entire life all on me. I'm going to do everything because if I rely on another person and they break my heart, then I'm going to lose everything. That's your choice to lose everything. That's your choice to self sacrifice. That's your choice to decide that you need no one. Some women are happy to never have a family and never get married and never have kids. That's not me. So, if that's a life that you want, good for you. I respect it. I applaud it. You do you, girl. I support you fully. But if that's not the case, because deep down inside you do want the family, You do want kids. You do want to get married. You do want to share your life with someone. I want you to really ask yourself, are you just scared of love? Or are you more scared of losing yourself if you do fall in love? So there's my fired up, unhinged version of today's podcast. I am of two minds. For me personally, I want a partner and I want to get married and I want to have kids. And I purposely chose to pursue a career that would allow me to do that, but also still maintain my independence and pursue my passions. When I have kids, when I get married, I'm not abandoning my lifelong dreams. And I'm probably going to have a partner that's going to support that. And I'm not going to settle until I do that. But until that time, I'm not going to think that having a partner or a boyfriend is embarrassing, especially if they allow me to be myself. And I think maybe you should take that into account. A lot of people said that a lot of men panicked when this article came out. I think the only reason why it would make a man panic is if they knew deep down inside they're not living a life that a woman would want to be a part of. And it threatens masculinity, true masculinity. Not the version of masculinity that kind of seems to be going around lately of men always wanting to be pursued, men feeling like they're the princess. You know what? It's not men, boys. So take a good hard look of if this episode triggers you, ask yourself why, because I'm a woman and I'm pretty picky with who I align myself with. And there's a reason for that. So if the article made you feel a certain type of way, ask yourself why. Because that ties right into romanticizing your life. You can't be hyper independent and also romanticize your life, because your hyper independence is just blind ambition because you feel like you have something to prove to someone. Independence is different when it has intention behind it and when it has pure self-devotion behind it. Because self-devotion and independence, you can still connect with other people. Hyper-independence, you're shut off. You are. Your heart's not open when you're hyper-independent. Saying I don't need help from anyone does not make you more sexy. It just falls right back into that energy that I was talking about at the beginning of this episode. Doing things for the sake of doing them instead of feeling them. Hyper-independence shuts off your feelings. So what would be so wrong for you to actually ask for help? Ask for support. Ask for someone to stand by your side. You don't have to be submissive. Being submissive doesn't mean giving up a part of yourself. It means allowing yourself to be worshipped and devoted to. So why are you scared of that? That's all for this episode. I got very fired up. If you have something to say about this, please say it in the comments below. Say what you're thinking and feeling. You know? I don't think I'm right. These are just my thoughts and opinions based off of my life experience and a lot of the friends that I spend time with. That's it. So if this made you feel some type of way, let's hear it. But other than that, I encourage you to romanticize your day every day, including your relationships. I don't mean like get delusional, but start making every day something to look forward to in some small way. Okay, I love you. Have a good day. A lot of rhyming. I encourage you to follow, like, subscribe, and rate this so that it pushes it out to whoever else might need it. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you ever want to chat more about anything that this podcast is about, you know where to find me. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and good old TikTok. And be sure to stay tuned for my Tea Time with Sabi episodes.